What's up? Welcome to a new episode of Movie Schmovie. This is episode 471. My name is Steve, one of the co-hosts of the show, and as always, I'm joined by Pew pew! Flying baby! Or dropping baby. Yeah, that's John. That's John right there.
John.
Good to see you guys. Had a little break for the holiday. Did you guys have a nice Thanksgiving?
It was crazy. It was crazy. All over the place. I drove so much. But it was nice. It was really nice.
I actually took a break, Steve, and I felt weird. Like,
oh, yeah?
We hung out. We had a very low-key family thing. We didn't have like a Friendsgiving thing or any, but we had some stuff going on it made sense for us to sort of keep it low key this year. But
That's
from
awesome.
like Wednesday through like Friday evening, I just hung out with Henry and Nikki, and we watched Stranger Things, and we had a big meal, and I grilled some meat, and I mean we did a nice big thing and hung out, and Henry and I watched some BoJack Horseman, and we watched Scream 4, different things that were like. And then on Friday evening, I was like, man, I've got all these deadlines, and I started to feel stressed, and then I realized, idiot, don't feel guilty that you just spent 2 days hanging out with your wife.
Yeah.
So I actually took a break. I don't often. My time is so nebulous working from home and stuff. It's like so nebulous sometimes. On a holiday, it's often a chance to catch up on work shit.
Sure.
And so this time it was great that I actually spent 2 of the 4 days, of the 4-day weekend. I actually spent half of that time being like a father and a husband. Isn't that shocking?
Yeah.
What an idea.
I know. What a strange concept.
What an idea.
In the words of Doechii, it's your anxiety. I just saw that
Create
in
a
a
playlist
trailer.
of all the songs you referred to, Ronald.
Yes.
Maybe at the end of the year we can do like
should.
a look back on all the songs you quote.
I just saw a trailer that used that song. It's the new Keke Palmer show on Peacock. It's called like The Burbs. Is that a remake?
Oh yeah, I think she is doing the Burbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob Rose and I were just talking about that, friend of the show, Bob Rose, Schmovie. We were just talking about the Burbs, or texting about how he said he'll watch that show, but that movie is sacred ground for him. I agree. Like, I do love that movie.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, Keke Palmer is someone, as a brand, I trust the Keke Palmer brand. So far.
Totes.
I miss Bob Rose's laugh. Like every time I see his name, I'm like, yeah, he has one of the craziest laughs. It's so genuine. So like from the heart. Yeah.
Yes, it's a full body
laugh. Yeah.
Anyway, here we are. Look at us.
Look at us. Here we
Back to business.
are.
Back to business after the holiday. Steve, did you say much about your holiday? Ronald's was crazy. He was all over the place.
Yeah, Rana was all over the place. I was pretty central to my place. I don't know. Family. I think I was saying last time, like we did one of the families earlier for family members that were like working on Thanksgiving, so we did it, a little earlier so that everybody could be together. And then just went to my side of the family on Thanksgiving, hung out with the family all day. Again, like John was saying, like a lot of Stranger Things time me and Aaron were spending watching. We watched some movies, finally saw some movies over that 2 to 3 day run where Aaron had never seen Sinners, so we got to watch that.
She never saw Sinners.
No. And then we finally got around to watching One Battle After Another, and a couple other things. Like we actually like watched some stuff together, which is a rarity. Besides some TV shows, but I don't know. It was a nice run, man. Like it is busy and crazy. Like Ronald's saying, like not for the driving part for me. Like thankfully I don't have to do that. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Like kick off to you go from one battle after another. You got Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. It's like no downtime, especially with 2 young kids. It's like, well, where's this thing happening, and when are we doing the tree, and when is this happening? It's just like it just turns up even more. It's like a sprint to the end of the year, it feels like, but it was a good time, man, for sure. Something I'm very, very thankful for. And Yeah, man, no complaints, no complaints. But to kick the show off, let's get into this week's required viewing, which you've had plenty of time to watch if you listened to last episode. Ronald's pick. You want to intro it again for us, and let's get into talking about it?
Yeah, I chose John Woo's Hard Boiled, 1992, action-packed. Man, bullets on top of bullets on top of bullets. So this is gun fu before gun new gun fu, but it doesn't have much martial arts in it. But this is the beginnings of sort of the fusion of, kicks in the chest. I love a kick in the chest combined with a shot in the face. And
little guys are of blood.
Maybe. Yeah, little guys of blood.
Slow motion, little like guys looking like they're dancing almost. The way they jump.
A lot of like hand tricks. So, you thought this was a bird? It's not a bird. It's guns.
One of my favorite things that was super indulgent in this movie is in the scene in the warehouse. I guess it's the scene where Alan kills Uncle Hoy. Is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Uncle Hoy.
After that scene, when what's our main character's name?
Tequila?
Huh?
Tequila?
Tequila, right. When Tequila comes swinging in on a wire, and I mean literally in the film, he's like on a rope. Have you noticed his infinite swing? Like he's swinging in a big arc, and then it cuts back to him. He's kind of swinging in the same spot. Like he's shooting a machine gun and all this stuff, so he's doing all this cool stuff.
Right.
And murdering people left and right. But it's like this infinite swing, and it's only through editing away, like cutting away and cutting back to it, that John Woo manages to create this sense of like, what the fuck is the space that this guy is moving in? By what like laws of physics is he operating? But like, right. I think that's what this, when you talk about, I mean, it's interesting, Ronald, that you would start with the main thing I think anyone would start with when talking about this movie, which is just that balletic, like ultra violence, super, like, I will say this, beautifully photographed, unbelievably beautifully photographed, bizarre, surreal, ultra violence, where it's like, that's what the movie is about. I mean, the movie is not about these characters. It's about like what it looks like when you machine gun the wall of a hospital. You know?
Or when you're trying to like lower babies down while a killer's also shooting out of the window, which is a crazy thing.
Okay, yes, we should just mention, if people haven't seen this movie, if you don't like peril to babies, this movie is got like a last act that is just like that. It's like, but not CGI babies like in The Flash. These are like real stunt babies. I love that the movie had the crazy sweet detail of like, we've got to go put cotton in the ears of the babies in the hospital. There's a weapons vault of a gang that's under a hospital, and then everybody's trying to find the weapons vault, and so it's like John Woo wanted to stage action in an unlikely location, he said, where people would have to, he said he wanted it to be in a location where the people with guns would have to conceal their weapons. I love that was his concept, because the people conceal their weapons for about 10 seconds as far as what we can see. But yeah, so the idea of them converging on a hospital was meant to be like, oh, where's a place where you don't often see gunmen, And I love that it's taken to this extreme of it being like an infant ward of a hospital. But did you guys read about this, that the movie originally, the story was Alan's character was originally a guy who poisoned babies?
No.
And like it was a whole crime thriller about a guy who poisoned babies, and like people found that distasteful at some point on the script level, and so it was moved away from that, and they made his character less blatantly evil. But I wonder if the infant ward of the hospital is some vestige of that earlier plot line, because it seems like an odd choice to suddenly have them in the middle of the movie going, we've got to put cotton in the ears of the babies. It was just like, oh, that's the stakes now. But then, yes, 10 seconds after that, you're lowering these babies out of a window while people are shooting machine guns all around. It doesn't seem like, I was questioning, is it safer to try to keep them safe inside or to take them out? We later find out the bad guys have bombs and the place is going to explode, so yes, you needed to take them out. But when they were initially removing the babies, it kind of seems like, well, this might be more dangerous than just keeping them safe somewhere inside.
Also, I'm like, didn't that guy die already? I keep saying the guy swung around. I thought this guy died. He got shot.
They just recycle some of the background actors.
That guy
put him in a different shirt or something.
He got shot in the face, and then just like,
You know, that's what's funny about that is like just in terms of like influence and things like that, like more modern action. But like that was an interesting part of the John Wick doc that I was talking about like a couple months back.
Oh wow!
They talked about how there's a certain actor, or there's multiple ones actually, that are like stuntmen that are just multiple actors or multiple characters in the movie / fight sequences.
Oh,
but like
wow.
you know the way it's shot, you don't know it. But even in but they were like making fun of one of the guys because they were like, you know, you actually see his face, and like no one really has ever picked up on the fact that it's like, is that guy, wasn't he killed already? It's like, no, that's a different guy, but it's the same man in real life. It's like, I felt like that was happening maybe in some of these scenes. Where like, he looks really, didn't he just got shot in the face? And it's like, no, he's still only, he's got only one bullet in him, and it's in his right arm. Good thing he's a lefty. You know,
there's by background image.
Yeah.
I thought this shot was insane because
It was
it's
insane.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous, but
Awesome.
it's just insane. It's just insane. It's like there's a moment where there's one car burning in a shot. That's pretty cool. What if we have 2 or 3? And then also, what if we're in like a factory that seems to be burning?
Yeah.
Beautifully photographed.
I didn't understand the mechanics of bullets in this movie. So, if you're on a ship, if you're on a boat, and someone shoots down at you with a shotgun, and your back is riddled with bullets, you can just get up and walk. But if you're walking and somebody shoots you like essentially in the knee, you're handicapped in a different way than somebody spraying your whole back up, which feels like there'd be more damage. Like it'd be harder for me to walk if my whole back was mutilated by bullets.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of vagueness around like what can you do once you've been shot and how many times do you need to be shot, but there is a lot of make sure this person is gonna die.
Yes,
with regard to how many times people get shot like 3 times in the stomach, like that's someone come around the corner and they go bam 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 in the lower midsection, and it's just
dude.
oh my god, that is painful and awful, but it's like, that is one way to ensure that person is not going to get up. It's just wreck their insides. I did think it was it's interesting what I said about this not being about the characters, but it is true that these characters almost feel like I thought it felt like a reflection of like, this feels like westernized cop movie characters being kind of thrown back at the world. And I found out John Woo he was inspired by like Dirty Harry and characters like that. Okay. He had been criticized for like glorifying criminals in his previous movies. So he wanted to make a movie that kind of glorified cops. Like, so this movie is trying to be like copaganda, like literally trying to be positive propaganda.
Oh, wow.
What's interesting is how much the movie leans on this very thin, like their conversations about being a cop. There's just a lot of like, when you're a cop, you got to do this. It's like it's very loose,
like a porn.
Well, yeah.
Again, I hate to say it, but
it is
like a porn.
Well, I was realizing with this movie how like I wasn't that interested in anything that it was trying to be about, quote unquote, but I was thoroughly entertained and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. And I realized that it's like it reminded me of like those big American 80s action films, but it's interesting how beautifully stylized it is visually. If not even stylized, it's just like inventing a kind of photography. I feel like we're still dealing with people throwing back to this kind of style, and I think there's something interesting about Woo as a director, who the fact that he was inspired by Western characters like Dirty Harry, but also filtering it through movies he had been making already. I don't know. It's an interesting flashpoint because he then came to America and made things like Face Off, which is an incredibly surreal movie that people love, and it doesn't matter if you love it because it's campy or if you actually think it's great. It seems like it's a movie that, again, people can be very entertained by, even if they don't think that it's really about anything. I just think it's an interesting career, and this movie didn't have a single shot of doves scattering.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. Yeah.
So like I would say that I wonder how many of his movies actually have doves scattering or pigeons scattering in it. This did have a lot of like those moments of slow-mo that felt very strange and just kind of stuck in, but it's all part of that. Just making the most out of every shot that you can make. And there are some images that are just that nighttime image where you've got like this blue nighttime light, but there's a car burning in the foreground and it's like orange, and like people, like the task force is like running around it into the hospital.
Yeah.
Shots like that were just like, I mean, I don't know. I wondered, did you guys have the same experience of just thinking this movie looked incredible?
Yeah, I did. I mean, there's like there is some heart to it that I really enjoyed. It's just like the integrity of wanting to be a good cop. Like, I guess whatever that meant, you know, right. I guess it meant like, you know, but then that guy was in so deep that it, like, I was wondering about, I really enjoyed when he killed the uncle and he's like trying to act tough about it. And he's like, and he's like, oh God. It's like that emotion of trying to be this tough guy in front of this guy that it clearly is like a psychopath.
I know that guy. I wondered why anybody followed him, especially that. I liked the thing, his henchman, Mad Dog. I thought that guy was cool.
Yeah, he was
the way
really
he kept
cool.
popping up, and at the end, the fact that he had a certain kind of integrity, like he wanted to let the patients get out of the room before they continued fighting, and then he kind of turned on his boss when his boss like shot the patients, the innocent bystanders. I thought that was kind of interesting. That guy, that was a nice moment where they kind of are communicating that non-verbally and putting their guns down and everything. The movie had a few really nice moments like that, I thought. But I mean, I feel like the violence, I wonder if John Woo, like, I wonder if he was a Sam Raimi fan, or is it that Sam Raimi is a fan of like Hong Kong cinema? Because some of the camera moves and the types of shots you get remind me of what Sam Raimi was doing a few years before this and around this time, of just like coming up with these moves that are just like, they're very theatrical and very heightened, but there's something. You could just imagine lovers of film watching stuff like that and going like, oh, wow. I mean, in this movie, I did look, it does have like great reviews, especially in the United States. Right from when it came out, and it hasn't really dimmed since then. And I think everybody has the same criticism, if that is a criticism, to say that the characters feel a little thin in some spots.
Yeah,
but like the storytelling is still super strong, even when that's the case. And so I think that you know, that I have not looked to see what other films this cinematographer shot, but I wonder if they're just one of those, you know, people who you're going to look and see that they've done 80 films or something.
Right.
No, yeah, it looks amazing. I think also it's like, and just what Hong Kong looks like in the movie too, I think is pretty awesome. I mean, because even when you get outside of all the action and like,
the street signs and stuff.
Yeah, just the place that you are in, and but yeah, I don't know, man. Like, and it's also something like I'm not as familiar. I mean, obviously, I've seen a lot of his movies, but I wouldn't claim to have any like expertise on it. But like, in this one specifically, like I said last time, I had not seen this movie, so like, you know, I'd seen clips from it. Like, you know, Ronald was saying last time, you kind of see it all over the place. It's like it's a much loved film, and like I've seen other filmmakers always like praise it and talk about it and reference certain sequences and things like that as inspirations, but. Something I didn't realize kind of going into it as much as on the other side was like kind of how funny and like silly it is, which I know is kind of like a thing like with these kinds of movies, especially of the Hong Kong action films and a lot of his movies in general. But I mean, some of it is like really silly, you know, and it's like that mashup or balance between how dialed up the action is, and that element of the movie was really kind of, I guess at times it's kind of like it either works for you or doesn't, but I think overall it was like kind of a nice palate cleanser at certain times to kind of take you up and down with the moments of like extreme action and violence. But yeah, I don't know, like that, what is it, the tea room. Is it the tea room or the tea and like the warehouse sequence, and obviously that last like 30, 40, 50 minutes, whatever it is, in the hospital or the parking lot and things like that. Like those are just like, I mean, those are just insane sequences, you know?
I might be fuzzy on this, but I think the tea room sequence, they actually shot it before they even had a finished script for the rest of the movie.
Oh, wow.
And like, they were modifying the script as they went. And I think, Chow Yun-fat thought his character was becoming less fully rounded with the changes, and so he introduced the idea of a mentor figure to be played by John Woo, which is what we get with that bartender. And he said because he thought John Woo would be less likely to cut scenes that he was in.
That's so funny. That's so funny.
But I think it makes so much sense to know that, because those scenes do feel a little bit like extra sauce, like almost like if this was a television show about tequila, these are the scenes we would get every week with his friend at the bar, you know. But instead, it was just Chow Yun-fat not wanting his character to be less interesting in that way. But it sounds like this movie went through so many changes as they were working, and that's crazy that it had this whole other plot line and they softened one character. But what I loved was finding out that John Woo's big inspiration for that tea room scene was, like, it's exactly what you would think, because so much of the action in this movie reminded me of when you were like 10 years old and you'd be running around with a friend and it's like, okay, you cover me, and you're just going dying and shooting and rolling and hiding and jumping out, and
for sure.
Those actors almost seemed like they were doing that. But that opening scene, the scene where Tequila slides down the banister with the gun,
good,
such an iconic like shot. And it's so like silly
So
in another
good.
way. It's like, it's so awesome, but it's also so like, it's such a kid's idea of what a badass thing to do would be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
And to know that that was actually what inspired that scene was that John Woo was in that place, and when he saw the stair railing, he thought it would be cool to see someone slide down that shooting. And that was like the germ of the whole scene. I love that, like,
So good.
that it's like that kind of inspiration, that there's like a playfulness and a humor almost to this, to this, even though we were talking about how horribly violent it is, but there is a kind of, like, the way the people die, even like they're so exaggerated. It's almost like a zombie movie effect where where like you look in the background and there'll be three actors who are like moving around on the ground, and I don't know if they know if they're supposed to be dead or dying or what, but they're, do you notice this, like, kind of moving? And I wonder if it's some of those people you were talking about, like the stunt people that were like part of almost like a troupe of actors working on this, that like there was a sense of, well, we referred to it as like ballet, but like there is a kind of dance choreography aspect almost to those moments where there's like six people dying in one shot and you can kind of watch them and they're almost timed. It's almost, it almost is like dancing.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I really did enjoy this movie so much. It'd been a long time since I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, it just has like a rhythm to it that just really fun." Even some of the parts got real sick, like when the bad guy shot all those people. I was like, "Oh, come on, this is gratuitous." This is like,
Well, that's what I mean about like an 80s action movie, like an American action movie. Where it's just like the villain is just the worst human being ever. Like he's just, for some reason, he's gunning down 10 people at that moment, you know. He did get shot in the eye, though. They had a good like prosthetic head with like blood coming out of the eye.
oh man.
So did he shoot himself? Did Alan in that last scene shoot
He
himself
did.
just to like pull the attention away from getting
I
him
think
getting
so,
shot, or did he actually
yeah.
shoot the other guy through himself?
Himself.
Okay,
That's
so
a
he
good-
just shot. Because I like that move where somebody shoots somebody through themselves. I don't like it. I wouldn't want to do it, but I'm just saying. I always think that's a cool moment where someone's like,
It hurts a lot less when you shoot someone through someone else who wasn't
Yeah.
expecting you to do it, and then there's a scene afterwards where like, why'd you shoot me?
Yeah.
You know, that scene.
like if you shoot somebody through themselves into yourself, that's just weird. But if someone shoots themselves to get to you, that makes a little bit more sense.
Right.
But yeah, I was a little surprised at that ending. I did not think that guy had survived. But
Yeah, it was like, what are you gonna do? I want to be here and then just show the boat. all right.
well, maybe he's sailing to Iceland. We know that's where he wants to go.
Yeah, they like burned his files. I guess that's what they did because it's just like, hey, this is the only record of this human.
Yeah, they said that earlier. Yeah, and I think, did they flash back to that at that point where he said, "You're the only person with my birth record"?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they did.
I don't think I remembered that. I think the movie made me remember that moment. But I found out. I realized watching this, I had not seen this movie. I thought I had, but I hadn't. So I wonder what other John Woo films I watched when I was checking. I mean, maybe The Killer. It makes me want to go back and do a little bit of an investigation on his early stuff.
Yeah.
But no, this was a fun one. This was, I mean, it was so noisy, and it is crazy,
So
like
noisy.
how much shooting there is. It is like one where, if you just count the gunshots in it, I'm not even sure if there's another movie with more. But
Good stuff.
good stuff. What a nice quiet moment.
Stuff.
that we just had.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Ever listen to a podcast and everybody gets quiet for like 2 or 3 seconds, and you wonder if something happened? Like, did my feed? And so you have to wait for that.
Like if someone's chair broke and they had to go on mute.
Right?
Yeah.
Usually that at least makes a noise, though.
that was crazy when it happened. Like a completely backward. I have such a much more stable chair now.
Oh, good.
With lumbar support.
So you learned.
And it's got its own chair underneath of it just in case.
Yeah.
At that Russian nesting doll in there. Nice.
Can we talk about some news that I saw the other day? Well, today.
Well, I had a news item as well. So
Okay.
Well, hold on. Is it relating to this, or should I pick my required viewing for the next
Required
episode?
viewing. Go ahead.
Before we get to the news.
with a pick.
Yeah, and this is like I may end up apologizing for this pick. I don't know. Just listen. Hear me out, okay? It's I wanted to pick this the last time it was my turn, but I completely forgot about it. But Joseph Kahn, director of many music videos, and he's done some other films that. What did he do? Like Bodied more recently. I think it was one of his more recent movies that he directed. But he did what's that one? Oh my god! Now I'm gonna blank out on it. Let me see if I can find it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joseph Kahn? Am I talking the name that you guys recognize at all?
Yeah, I mean, I recognize the name, but I'm...
Yeah, very much like a music video director.
Okay, I did see Bodied before, though.
Yeah, he did Bodied. He did, Torque, not that I would recommend that, but he did like a bunch of music videos for huge pop stars. But I like the dude. I always follow him. But he had a movie come out, I guess, last year, but it finally got released throughout the year this year, called Ick. Brandon Routh is in it. What is it? Mina Suvari's in it. A couple other people you probably recognize, but it's kind of like a alien threat on a small town, kind of like The Faculty-ish.
Okay.
Got a vibe around it like that, where this town is basically being infested or infected by some alien germ or parasite that is turning the entire town and people into like this substance, this like root veiny kind of gross substance, and it's called the Ick. And it's got this nostalgia kick to it, like early 2000s. The soundtrack is like all of the songs I loved in the late 90s, early 2000s. Tons of pop punk alternative songs. The trailer is really fun, but I just wanted to give it some love and check it out finally, because I do, again, I'm a fan of his in general, and he's banging the drum pretty hard to let people know this movie came out, because sadly I don't think there was any awareness. I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's got a pretty decent Metascore. Rotten Tomatoes isn't horrible, but it's now come out like in the past month or two digitally. It's on Prime. It's like a couple bucks to rent it, but it's Ick, I-C-K. Just kind of like an alien invasion horror action comedy that I thought might be fun to watch in between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yes.
Go. Ick.
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 Ick. So yeah, that's my pick. On to the news.
Dun, 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 ba, ba. Ronald? Your news item.
According to many movie sources, Zoë Kravitz might not be returning for Batman 2. And a name is being thrown around, Scarlett Johansson. I'm not sure who she'd be
Not to play the same character, though, yeah.
Yeah, not to play the same character, but someone in the Rogues Gallery.
Definitely. Are we sure that it's a villain? Okay.
I mean, she could be Vicky Vale, right?
That'd be a really weird character to bring in someone like Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Vicky Vale's sort of we think of that as like a character because of Kim Basinger or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really think that character looms very large
No.
in the lore. But Matt Reeves could do anything he wanted with any kind of character, so who knows?
I mean,
I have no concept. I mean, I feel like Poison Ivy feels a little far out for this version of Batman. So I have no idea who she could be.
they can make it all practical. You know how they did. You know how they did the Riddler. Like maybe it'll be like practical stuff. Like she just gets a
She actually
poison.
poisons people.
Yeah, just poisons people
Yeah.
with natural
I mean,
stuff.
if she gives you a plant that if you touch it, it poisons you and you die or something, I could
Yeah.
see that fitting into that world. But
Or
I'm
she
just saying,
figures out your allergies. It just fucking kills you with throw some peanuts at you.
but it has to involve plant
That's-
life. of
that's
some
cold,
sort, right?
man.
Yeah, I mean that's a legume.
Yeah.
I like
Who
him.
figures out your allergies? That's like
That's
like
pretty cool.
that's like allergen. You know,
That's a
that
lot
would
of
be-
research.
Yeah.
He just to do the test.
But once you know.
Once you know, you can fucking kill the shit out of somebody. But that test takes quite a bit. You gotta see if the bumps can get raised after a while. Okay, the third one, cat dander. Okay, I got some cat dander for you. Hold on.
Well, that's one of those things where like the crack in the case is figuring out who's choosing these victims. So it would have to be someone at like an allergy center or somebody who helps you figure it out. Just like in Manhunter, it's all about like
Yeah.
guy developing the film or the photos or whatever.
The script writes itself.
Script writes itself. Allergen, the allergen killer. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I find it more in the. I see a lot of people speculating about the character, but for me, it's just more the interesting aspect of Matt Reeves's Batman 2 is becoming a little bit more real, and here's one of the things that's happening with it is that seemingly she might be cast in it. I'm a little surprised that Zoë Kravitz wouldn't be like on tap for this, but I saw her weeks ago saying she wasn't sure about it and hadn't heard anything about it or whatever, or didn't think she'd be back. And it's like, okay, well, either maybe there was some bad blood there that we didn't know about, or maybe it's really a case where Matt Reeves takes 5 years to write a script, and he told her at some point Catwoman is not in this next one, and she just knows that it's not happening. I don't know. I don't know that she's refusing to appear, though, so much as she's just not in it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
The way it's being reported is like, as though like her not returning and them hiring Scarlett Johansson is part of the same story, but those could be two different data points attached to the movie.
Right.
What do you think, Steve? Do you have any opinions about this?
No, none at
Very
all.
mysterious film.
No, I just feel like just wait and see what happens, man. Like I feel like it's also just these little pieces kind of come out intentionally when they come out, unless they get broken outside of a trade or something like that. But I mean, I just think that they release these little nuggets to kind of keep interest in something that's taking a long ass time to make, and even longer still, So it's like, we're gonna get a lot more. And honestly, like, who knows what's gonna happen? I mean, I don't think it'll affect this movie specifically, but in the DC stuff in general, like with whatever's happening, with Warner Brothers and DC Films, if that whatever happens with who buys Warner Brothers.
That'll be a Netflix film.
That could all change. I'm just saying the James Gunn Saffron stuff. I don't know what that looks like in a different acquisition scenario. That's not about Scarlett Johansson or anything, but I just say I like Scarlett Johansson a lot. I think it's cool that she's bouncing all over the place, trying a bunch of different shit, and I would not be upset to kind of see her in a Batman movie. I think she kind of could fit in pretty cool there, especially in what Matt Reeves' world looks like for Batman, which I loved. Obviously, we all really liked it, at least. So yeah, we'll wait and see what plays out.
Well, I will bring up a little bit of news, and I guess I can just put it simply, and then we'll get into some details. But Quentin Tarantino is out in these streets with Paul Dano's name in his mouth.
Well, I love it.
Talking some shit.
Well, what I'm curious about, there's two sides to this story. We were talking about Brian Cox versus Daniel Day-Lewis a few weeks ago, and I thought after that, like maybe we'll have a little haterade segment that we do every now and then. But like, there is a thing where creative people in the press used to talk trash about each other, in a more pointed way. And creative people used to talk more trash about each other, like out in the public sphere, and that would almost be part of the story you would read. There'd be somebody who was known for talking trash, and you'd see these little feuds happening. I feel like that used to happen more often, and people sort of rolled with it, but now we're in a kinder, gentler age where you don't see as much of that. So in some way, it's like I don't want the trash-talking interview to go away, but I do think it's strange when someone does like a sneak attack on somebody who, in my opinion, is not deserving of the attack, and also in such a way that it makes the person doing the attacking seem very like off the chain in a way that's not like interesting, or that seems like sour grapes of some sort. You know, for someone like Quentin Tarantino whose acting can sink even films as good as his. It's strange to see him criticizing someone's acting. But even if we separate that from it, you don't have to be good at something to criticize that art form. Hey, we don't make feature films, and we talk about them on this show. But I do think that there's this just, I don't know, there's something kind of unseemly about it, and it's like you can find the quotes all over the place about what he said. I was trying to find a complete transcript of everything he said, so I'll just throw out a couple of these things that I think are sort of egregious in a way, just the way he went about it. He says he's weak sauce, he's a weak sister, he's just a weak, uninteresting guy. And then he says he's the weakest actor in SAG, he's the limpest dick in the world. He said, "I don't care for him. I don't care for Owen Wilson. I don't care for Matthew Lillard."
I was gonna say, Paul Dano wasn't alone in this attack here. I was gonna make sure they got their.
But like, why did he pick the three most low key likable actors that?
At some point, a woman probably chose them over him, or some bullshit like that. Like,
did you hear how he got into the talk about Paul? Like, it was like he was talking about.
No Country. There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood.
Talk about how great There Will Be Blood.
Why he liked it, and then he's like,
he was saying that like it's the only flaw in that movie,
only flaw in the movie,
and like why it's not the number one movie of the 2000s, like or whatever his list was that he was talking about.
And to me, that was not. It did feel like overkill, and the weak sister lived it. It was like, wow, what the fuck did Paul do to you? And it makes me think that this might be a play, like he might cast him in something. Like it was so weird, it was so piled on. But also Quentin has done that before about like, you know, he has that time, he had that thing where he's like, the 80s were the worst time in film history, and then he just names like 20 films that were awful to him, and it's like they're like fucking terrible, and the cinematography and acting and I don't think that every movie in the 80s was terrible, Quentin Tarantino, but he has these every once in a while. He also shit on Hunger Games a couple days before that, which look, I mean, I'm kind of a pro what he said, because I remember Battle Royale, and I have it, and I remember the way that it hit and how similar it is to Hunger Games, and how somebody could say, I mean, this is very derivative of this body of work.
I mean, but like so many things are derivative like that. You know what I mean? So it's like it's strange to pick on Hunger Games when you also I mean, like everything from The Matrix to Quentin Tarantino's own films can be directly traced back to other ideas and other films. But that doesn't make them not revolutionary. So it's just a weird. Again, it's just a weird thing. But yeah, you're right that like he's not wrong about Battle Royale being on the scene first, and Hunger Games being like, it's one of those things where, and I'm sure it happens to us all the time, right? Where so you hear something that's happening and you go, oh, they're just doing blank again. They're just doing that again.
Right.
Yeah.
But like you can trace, you know, particularly his earlier films, you can trace so much of them directly back to films that he was inspired by. It's just I think that's the danger of, back to what I was saying about trash talk in interviews. That's the danger of doing that, is that people, you know, he is a powerful enough guy who he can mouth off and still get A-list talent in his movies, and you know, he'll
absolutely.
But it is sort of like, why are you, you know, like picking a battle with someone who I was pleased to see how well liked Paul Dano is. Like, it reminds me of when the person wrote that column about that whole think piece about like Martin Short not being funny.
What?
What happened was like a week or two of people extolling the virtues of Martin Short, and everybody writing columns about how great he is and like sharing their best clips by him. And it was like, okay, so as bad as that column was, it resulted in everybody pouring out how much they love this guy. And I think, like Paul Dano, it was a similar thing on my feed, where it's just like people are like, if you didn't know what the story was, you would wonder, why are people saying, I love Paul Dano? Like, you know. But I mean, he is an interesting actor who I would think Tarantino would appreciate how against the grain Paul Dano goes. His like softness, his soft voice, Like, I don't see that as like non-entity acting or whatever he was calling it. I see it as like a strong choice, or a combination of a strong choice and like what happens sometimes when an interesting person becomes a popular actor. Like Paul Dano seems like one of those people who isn't an obvious star, but it's cool that he got to the point where he can share the screen with some of these intense performances that we like. Prisoners, and like you've got Hugh Jackman at his most vein-popping intense, and then you've got Paul Dano on the other side of that rage. And there is something about him. I mean, he's punchable or something. There is something about his on-screen persona that is, I think you could deconstruct the effect he has on viewers, but you see him play a sympathetic character like he did in The Fabelmans, and you realize that it can go in the other direction too. He's not just a guy who can make you uncomfortable. He's a guy who can seem very warm. So I don't know. It's interesting for Tarantino to have picked on such a unique actor. Like, there's not like a bunch of Paul Dano. It's not like that's a trend you need to fight in Hollywood, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gotten him dragged all around. But then people go too far and say his movies have never been good, and it's like, well, now you're full of shit.
Yeah, now you just fucking lying to yourself. None of his movies have ever been good, so all right. Yeah.
Well,
So that's John's news item. What was your news item, Ronald?
Oh, he
Wait,
had
what is
the,
that?
What was it? The Batman thing. The Batman
That's right, ScarJo. That's right.
yeah, ScarJo and Zoë Kravitz, man. I'm so sad because I really enjoyed her Catwoman.
Well, plus the connection between her and the character on the Penguin show that was forged at the end of that show seemed like it could lead into something cool in the next movie. But maybe she's going to be on the Penguin show, I mean, maybe that's why she's not going to be.
Oh, that would be cool as hell.
Yeah. No, I love Zoe.
Me too.
By the way, it's a silly thing to point out, but have you seen her Subway Takes clip?
Was it about Bluetooth?
I think it was. Yeah, and I agree with her 100% about how Bluetooth doesn't work. And the guy is like, it works most of the time. And she's like, that's not working. And I think that we've missed that with a lot of the tech that we use, honestly.
Yeah.
Like this idea that like if you spend, because she said, pulling over to the side of the road, futzing around so that you can play a playlist rather than
That's true, dude.
in a cable.
Yeah.
It's like, it is so true. And it's
That's
like
so true.
especially when I walk around my house and my devices get confused about where I want my headphones to pair up. And so I have to keep my phone on me. I feel like I should be able to leave my phone somewhere and walk around and it will stay connected. But no, my laptop, my iPad, my desktop, it goes like, hey, it's a real floozy. My Bluetooth earpiece. It really wants to get around. But no, I thought that was great. But yeah, she's really someone who I enjoy, and I think she's actually a pretty good actor. Like I'm trying to think of when I haven't seen her kind of elevate the material that she was.
Why was High Fidelity canceled? It should not have been canceled. Do you remember High Fidelity?
Yes.
I never watched that, but I heard people say
God.
that it was legit good.
It's
so
great.
It's one of the few things that takes the original material and elevates it. I'm a big High Fidelity fan, and it took everything that made High Fidelity great and made it even better somehow. She was so good in that show. Yeah,
she was great on the Studio too.
Yes,
Really, really fun.
So funny, man.
So, since we just talked about some TV, some Taylor Vision, maybe we should talk about this hot new show that's back. It feels like a new show because it's been away for a long time. But Stranger Things Season 5 dropped the first 4 episodes of its last season on Thanksgiving or the day before Thanksgiving. And there's going to be 3 more on Christmas Eve or Christmas. And then one more.
I think Christmas, yeah. See, I was confused by that because we all thought it was on Thanksgiving, but it was actually the night before at 8 p.m. So I know New Year's Eve is definitely at 8 p.m. I'm not sure about if it's Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, but yeah, Volume 1, 2, and the finale. I don't know if they're calling that 3, but they keep referring to this first batch of 4 as Volume 1. Yeah.
So there's going to be 3 volumes?
Well, there's going to be 3 more episodes
and
1 big episode. So it's not equal. This was the largest drop, I guess, of stuff.
I think they're just I don't know if they're going to call the series finale. Well, actually, no. This release here says Volume 3 for the New Year's Eve one. So maybe, but yeah, I don't know.
But it's like 2 hours plus, right?
It's like 2:05 or 2 hours 5 minutes or 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to get tickets, or we were considering getting tickets to go see it because they're doing the theater showings of it. At the same time, it drops on Netflix on New Year's Eve, but like they sold out like immediately.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about that. We actually briefly thought about it because this is a thing. Like my son loves it, and my wife and I both love it. So it's like, and we've been following it all along. But then I was like, it's okay if we watch it at home because that's how we've been watching this show all along. This has been a real sock foot, like pajama pants, get under a blanket. You know what I mean? This has been a show we watch as a family at home, and when new ones come out, I know as people have debated the binge model largely based on shows like this, but I think of this as one that I love getting the drop, and I think the last couple times when they've done the broken it up a little bit thing, where you get a chunk and then you get a chunk, I like that. Like I do think it would be a pity if they had dropped all 8 episodes at once and people had already had that story in their rear view. I think it is more fun to exist in this in between space right now.
Yeah.
We saw the first half, and there's going to be more to come. Like I like this little run of it's like it's something to get excited about. I mean, if you like this show, you can get excited about it. I know there's a lot of people who have to have opinions about this show because it is so hyped. There's a lot of people that don't like it, and they can be just as vocal.
Sure.
But I don't know, if you're into this show, then it's not just the idea of a show coming back. It's like a story in a world. And I don't know, I was going to mention this. You can talk about it extemporaneously, Ronald, because you haven't watched it yet. But Steve, do you know this feeling of like coming back into a world that they're about to end it? There's a sense in the air of just like every little moment you're looking at it the way you would if you were leaving town or something like that. You're looking at every little moment for some kind of meaning or some kind of, what are they doing here? Why is this moment here? And I think that even when it's not full, because there are moments in these 4 episodes that I think are great, and then there's moments that I think are similar to other weaknesses that the show has. But the overall feeling of being back with these characters and knowing that they're pushing us towards some kind of final moment with them, I don't know, it's like it really is working on me. And it reminds me of shows like Better Call Saul or something like that, where I love them so much, and when I get to the last season, I feel them pulling me towards something. I can tell they're trying to get us somewhere. And
I agree.
I think they've got something in mind. I think they have an ending. And unlike Game of Thrones, where the ratio was off at the end of like, maybe some of these moments are cool, but the way they got here doesn't feel good. And so you can't really enjoy the ending of the story as much. I feel like Stranger Things is avoiding that largely. I think there's only been a few things that feel kind of like, okay, the show's just having fun right now and being kind of goofy, and like they're indulging themselves, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
But like I feel like more so they've stayed true to the emotional ideas of these characters, which is what they've done all along. That's worked on me, like
and that's it right there. I mean, that's why it's been so successful. I think it's like it's kind of been like it was like a kind of an unassuming show, when they released it, and you hear about that all the time when they talk about it, especially in this round of press for the finales and for the final season and the finale. Everybody keeps talking about like how this show was like no one wanted the show. Netflix took the show. The trailer comes out, like no one knows what it is. No one knows who's anyone in it, maybe except for Winona Ryder. But that's what's so exciting about a thing like that. Like when it kind of comes out of nowhere, it takes off. It doesn't have a lot of steam behind it, but it finds an audience, and it's such a loyal, consistent, rabid, I don't know, like fan base. It is kind of the landmark show for Netflix. It's their flagship everything, basically, or one of the top 3. But I mean, before the Wednesday, before the Squid Games, like before the the big number shows, like I think Stranger Things connected in a way that few things had on Netflix. There were some shows that did it as well, but nothing with the running power and the longevity of this show. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like, kind of coming into the last season, it felt really emotional. I don't know, like when Aaron and I finally sat down to watch it, like Sydney has expressed some interest in it, and like she's too young to watch it, but like she sees how excited I am about it, and even Aaron is about it. So like there's even like excitement just in our house, even though she doesn't know what it is, but she knows it's something that we really love, and that one day she'll be able to watch. So like she wanted like a little plushie of like they got these little series of plushies of like I think it was what is it? What they're called, like bum bums? They're like little like they're I have a couple of them like they're like a film reel. They look like this.
Okay, yeah, I've seen
But they have them for Stranger Things, and it's like a little waffle with Dustin's hat on it, and like she's like, that's really cute. Is that the show you like? And so even that being in my house, and like I know that eventually my daughter will want to rewatch this show with me, and my kids will. That makes it even more exciting. But it's like watching it knowing that this is the last season. It's just I don't know. There's like you're like looking around and you're watching certain settings and scenes and character moments, and just kind of taking it all in, and I don't know, just it's an emotional thing, man, because it's one of my favorite shows of all time, and I've said that many times on the podcast because it really is a crossroads of like everything I love about everything basically with entertainment. There's the sci-fi, the horror, the drama, the suspense, the heart. Like it's just got so many great things going for it, and this first volume really was a lot of what I love about the show. And like you said, John, some of the stuff that kind of gets knocked for, but that stuff never really has affected me or bothered me or really kind of taken me out of any of my enjoyment for any of it, really. And it's actually caused us to like go back and like we're rewatching it now.
Yeah.
Which I did like a year or so ago, like in between, like kind of missing more Stranger Things, and like season 4 had ended like a year before that even, or 2 years before that. So like we're kind of going through and either watching the whole season or like spot picking episodes that like they kind of have released a list of like the episodes that they recommend rewatching before you kind of get into this season. And Ronald, like if you haven't started it yet, it might even be something you want to look at, like to kind of not only get a refresher, but
where's this list at?
I'll send it to you now. I'll text
Please
you.
do.
But like thematically, kind of what's coming back into the story and things that are going to matter in this season. So it's kind of cool watching some of that stuff even after watching the first volume and being like, oh yeah, wow, that actually did tie in really nicely to this last season. Some are more obvious and some are less obvious, but man, I'm just really excited. I'm sad, but I'm really excited to watch it. And
Cool.
Yeah, watching the first 4 episodes was a blast. And again, we're not going to talk any details at all, but I mean, I kind of like had those moments watching. I mean, especially, there's moments really in all 4 of the episodes where you're just like, wow, that's a fucking moment. That's a real moment that they did something awesome. And people
what
are
I mean about like you feel that they get to these moments, and for the
Yes.
most part, they're delivering why they got there. And like, I won't say anything about like any of these things just to leave them as a surprise, but there's characters who have moments. I guess I will say just as a little bit of hype. I do like how much Will is getting to do this season. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But there's moments between characters that you didn't realize you kind of needed. There's like character growth you can find with like there's certain things, and then they have the conversation you would want them to have after that,
Right.
And they say the thing you kind of would want them to say, and you realize at a point like this in a story, Ronald, when a character says the kind of thing you want them to say to another character, it's like, are they about to die? Which one of them is about to die?
Right,
I don't think.
right.
I think people overrate death as like the plot element that resolves a character. I think people really look at a show like this and say, people gotta die. I do think people gotta die, but I also think that if this is another thing like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or whatever, where we're watching the characters that don't die, I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm fine with understanding that notion of an adventure that's like, yeah, people are dying in this story, but the characters we focused on are a group that got together and isn't going to die. Like, I'm fine with that. I don't need it to be grim and bleak, but I do think they're going to take some kind of a chunk out of me before this show is over. And I don't know where it's going to hit because, like you said, Steve, there's so many characters that I kind of love, that I'm just sort of like, and it has something to do with the time you spent with them, but it also has something to do with the aesthetic. And yeah, maybe Spielberg meets Stephen King is sort of
Spot on.
real easy. Like if you're trying to get to me, and then it's like, wait, guess what? There's also a father figure character who has basically got grumpy Harrison Ford energy, And it's like,
Yeah.
don't tell me he's a cop who drinks and smokes. Yes, he is. It's like, okay, fuck. Well, now I got to watch this show. So no, I think that it's just, for me, it hits a lot of sweet spots. But I understand the criticisms people have, and I think it's interesting that at this point, it's a show that has, for me, not bungled. I understand there's a lot of opinion out there about some seasons being way better than others, but I'm kind of like you, Steve. Like, I've kind of just been clocked in for the latest installment of whatever this thing is. Maybe if I sat back from it and actually rewatched things, I could assess like, oh yeah, this is the weakest spot, or this storyline really is the worst, the low point. But in general, I've appreciated their efforts every season to kind of refresh it, but also give us, like a good television show, give us variations on something that works, so.
Totally.
With that in mind, Steve, there's another thing we saw that is a follow-up to something. I know you were the one who reported on a text thread that you really enjoyed, Zootopia 2. I wonder, did you see it in a family way? Did you see it while pregnant?
Yeah.
That's what in a family way means, right?
Yeah.
Did you see it with your family?
with family.
So yeah, talk a little bit about that, and maybe tell me about how the Ritter kids enjoy this.
Dude,
this movie.
they love Zootopia, man. Like, we've been on a run recently going to the movies, and they're so great with it. And I feel so fortunate that they like going to the movie theater, and like they like it to see the movie on the big screen, and they like to get the popcorn and the drink or the slushie. I know, John, you'd appreciate the icy they always require, but like, yeah, it's a really funny outing. Like, it's so exciting to go to the movies with my kids. It's a little, my son, who's only 5, just turned 5, like, he's the one that maybe is like, can we get some more candy? Like, can we get some more popcorn? Can you refill the popcorn? Because it's a part of the experience. But yeah, like, we took him to see Wicked like the week before, or Wicked for Good, and then they've been talking about Zootopia, and like we took him, it was like the Tuesday or Wednesday night that it came out, that we took him to see it, and it was pretty packed too, man. The movie killed at the box office, and it was a blast watching it with them. They were like, oh, I remember that guy from the first one, and like, oh, there's the sheep or the lamb that they locked up for the first, they remember that stuff, and it was so cool because they're excited for it for many different reasons. And Aaron and we took my mom, like, we're reacting to things for a different adult reason, and it's got that kind of, there's that 2-layer enjoyment that I get to kind of enjoy it through my kids, and I myself, even like you said, John, like I texted you guys right afterwards, like, just saying that movie was great, like it was awesome. Like, I mean, I really like Zootopia to begin with, but I thought it's as good, if not better, than the first one, in my opinion. Both because they introduced new characters, and those characters are great, and the jokes are great, and the scenery is great, and it's just like a really great buddy, movie. Not even just say animated movie; it's just a great buddy mystery movie, Mm-hmm. But it was a lot of fun though with the kids, for sure. They loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it without a child, so I had the slight experience of going, I bet if I had a small kid, this would be really, like, it would be working for me for all those reasons you just said. That it's like, this is, like, great, and it's like they can get it, and it's animals. I mean, I'm a sucker. If you do it right,
totally.
A city full of animals that are acting like people is just going to work for me.
What a genius idea.
It's just going to work for me. And it's such a simple concept, and the way they do it, like they keep adding to it, and the layer that this one adds about like reptiles and what they represent. Like, I don't know if it quite makes sense to me. Like, I don't know why all the animals wouldn't just be kind of thrown into the same sort of ecosystem, but I like the way the movie gets at, like you said, this one feels like it has a little bit less on its mind, which in some ways might be okay. I feel like the kind of socially conscious metaphor of the first movie doesn't quite work. Whenever you start comparing people to animals, you start losing a little bit of ground with like the fact that, like, okay, carnivores aren't so bad, but it's like, but if carnivores are actually killing and eating the non-meat eaters, then that's actually bad. Like, that, you can't make a social metaphor out of that, at least not one that works. I don't think this one tries to do that, and in some ways that makes it feel smoother, and other ways it made me feel like, oh, this really is just about the kind of hijinks and the adventure at the end, and it keeps kind of adding to it. Like, the movie really goes places. It's a globe trotting, although not a globe. Their city is like, has every environment in it. I like the way they made that clear.
Yes.
So that like every animal has the right home, Ronald, in this movie. So Was that part of the first movie? I don't remember it being
Yes.
explicitly stated. Okay, I just don't remember it being part of the first movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time. At any rate, yeah, it's a cool world, and they're very appealing characters, and the vocal performances are really great. And yeah, if I'd had how old is your daughter, Steve?
He's 8.
If I had an 8 and a 5-year-old with me, I would have been like on cloud 9 watching this movie.
And I was.
It would be so down the middle for them.
Bullseye.
For me, it was like you said. It was more like, this is a really good sequel. Like, it's the kind of thing where you could debate. Wait, maybe I liked the first one more, but if I really averaged out my favorite moments between the two movies, a lot of the best character stuff is in this one. I don't know. There's just something fun about returning to a character, and I could easily see a third or a fourth being made to this, and it feeling like Toy Story or one of those where it doesn't feel like a cash in. It actually feels like a series. You know, like you could almost give it like a trilogy feel or something. So yeah, I just really. And I think if this movie were less Disney, if like the character designs were a little bit less like cute Disney, big-eyed, whatever, I think that what they're doing with the storytelling and the humor, it's actually like, not to say that it's not sophisticated because it's cute and so Disney. I'm just saying that I wonder if people are put off by what they think makes this seem like childish stuff, because it's really not. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're getting at.
If this had a more subversive visual style to it, I bet people would be crowing about how great this movie is. Like, especially as a sequel, as a follow-up that holds on to the quality this much. It's like, I bet everyone involved must just feel like they're part of something solid. And I think that is, sometimes that's what I want from a movie, and especially from a sequel.
I think you're right. Absolutely.
So yeah, if you're put off by big-eyed animals because they seem cute, and it can't be for you, these are actually really good characters, and the sort of like the kind of buddy stuff. Like, there's actually good buddy movie. The chemistry of the characters is a huge plot element.
It's great. It's great. Yeah, you gotta check it out, Ronald. I think you'd really like it too.
Okay. I guess at the end I do want to mention something TV related that's a little crazy, a little off the beaten path for this podcast, but I'm going to mention it because it's such a big deal. You didn't say. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You've got the steering wheel.
Yeah, man. Peacemaker, aka John Cena, is approaching the end of his career as a wrestler, and so. I've been a fan of wrestling for a really long time, and when The Rock retired, I didn't shed a tear. When Stone Cold Steve Austin retired, I didn't shed a tear. Same with Hulk Hogan, but for some reason,
why didn't you cry for Hulk Hogan though? What has that guy done to burn anyone's affection for him?
He's only isolated everybody,
right?
And even his friends, and then said all kinds of racist stuff. But John is one of those people that sneaks up on you, man. He's had this insane impact. Like he has he's the most famous wrestler alive right now, and has more Make-A-Wishes than any human being that's ever done it. It's like 10,000 over what everybody else has done. It's an astronomical number.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, and
I watched not a doc, but it was like a feature on his time with Make-A-Wish. It's insane.
And it's not like he just comes in there and just leaves. He spends time. He's close. It's
it's part of his vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like, the fact that he does that totally fits. If you know anything about him or seen him in interviews or hear anything about him as a guy, like, you're right. It's like, it seems very genuine.
But what's even crazier is before we knew that, he pushed that stuff. Like, John Cena, as we know him, is a very new thing. It's a very new character in the evolution of who he is. Because there was a time when he was the master of thugonomics. He rapped a little bit, and something happened after he was able to have this evolution of himself, where he started to feel more comfortable in his skin. And I think the first time I really started to see it is when he learned Mandarin to promote a movie, and they're like, "Oh, okay, he's he's talking to people and he's getting to know people, and he apologized in Mandarin after he fucked up. Like, it's like this stuff that just felt solid about him. And then we always knew about the Make-A-Wish stuff because as wrestling fans, they tell us, like, they show him in the but then there were like, you'd hear little stories about like just how he helped people on a real level beyond this stuff, before the obligatory stuff, because that's, whether people know it or not, the Make-A-Wish stuff is kind of part of your contract as a wrestler. But the fact that he went above and beyond and it's like he's becoming like the LeBron of, it's like there's like a number so big that it can't be beaten at this point.
Right.
But yeah,
the LeBron of kindness.
The LeBron of kindness. And what he's been doing for this past year is he's been doing these dream matches, like people who he's wrestled before or never got to wrestle before, never even got in a ring with, that he's been wrestling. And he had a pivot. He was a bad guy for a little bit towards the end, and then I just kind of realized that it wasn't working. He had a plan. It was supposed to be kind of, he was an asshole to everybody and telling them what makes them fake and terrible, and it just wasn't working. So then he was like, I'm just gonna be John Cena, and he decided to do that. And what's kind of come about from this is some of the most emotional shit I've ever seen. Because what he's been doing is like being real straightforward. One of the guys that he wrestled is this guy named AJ Styles. He wrote his intro for him. He told him how much he admired him, how much he loved him, and the fact that he never got to tell him that in any other time in his life. For some reason, it made me super emotional.
Yeah.
It made AJ emotional. He like cried before they wrestled. It's like
he's got this like really amazing ability to like, when he's talking to people, it's like he's like connected to them, like deep inside their body, soul, and mind. Like, he's crazy, so genuinely engaged with people. Like, even the things you just mentioned about like him learning languages and like being so open-hearted about like what he wants to do and like how he feels about people. That description and how it affected you. I just think it's a really big factor in his persona and why people like love him. Because like, if he's talking to you, there is no doubt in your mind that he is 100% talking to you. And like means every word that he's saying to you. Man. And that's just like, that's like a ton of validation and just love. And I don't know, he's a special dude, man. Like, I'm nowhere in it as deep as you with the wrestling stuff, but even I'm definitely exposed to him through wrestling as well. But more in what we see with him in movies and shows, and he's definitely a special kind of person for sure.
He is. So December 13th is his last match, and he's doing it in a very specific way. So there's a tournament that's been going on where all these guys are wrestling. The final person gets to wrestle. It's pretty obvious who it's going to be at this point. But that's not why this is special. He's doing it on WWE Saturday Night, which comes on public television. So you can watch it on ABC or. And it's also on Peacock, but it's on regular TV, and he's doing that specifically so that anybody could watch this last match.
That's awesome.
It's really cool, and it's been a year. We've been watching. He's been counting down. Like, he'll come in the ring. He's like, "Look, I have 10 more months. I'm gonna do what I could do. I love you guys." And what's really strange, last thing I'm gonna say, is he's getting older. So like, I've watched when he had Reebok pumps, and now he has orthopedic shoes at wrestling. And it's like watching him he's genuinely sore and not able to lift people up like he used to be able to.
Yeah.
It's also really emotional, man. It's like this strange, like, oh God, I'm aging. He's aging. We're all aging.
That's wild.
So this December 13th, even if you don't like wrestling, this is going to be a special one. I think a lot of people are going to show up. And I think that it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be a special event.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool. I'm not a wrestling guy, but I do appreciate so much of how often the wrestling guys turn out to be like really chill dudes who do all this kind of stuff for kids and stuff. Understanding that it's contractual makes sense because of like the nature of their personas and how kids latch onto that stuff. But yeah, there is some, like Mick Foley is another guy who has turned out to seemingly be like just a real sweet guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just am suckered in by the idea that it's a contrast with what you would expect, but I love that when it's like a big dude who could just thump you to the ground turns out to be a gentle spirit. To me, that's just, there's something very appealing about guys like that. And it makes sense to me that that's why James Gunn would be like knowing how much he's got like an anti-asshole policy.
Yeah.
He worked with John Cena and then came out of that saying, I got to make this guy, not just I got to make this guy a character in a show, but like I've got to make this guy a star. I've got to make this guy an actor that people take seriously. It makes a little bit more sense even why he latched onto him.
Good dude, man.
What a great guy he is. So yeah, and I love he played the Pixies song on piano in a clip that I saw once.
Yeah,
like if they were like, John Walker doesn't like John Cena enough. Let's release a clip of him playing the Pixies song on piano.
Yeah, man. He like what I've been noticing is like lately he's been like he'll come to the ring. He like talks to little kids. He's like, look, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. It's weird, man. I'm like, this guy is fucking blowing my mind. He's like, yeah. He's getting to me. And every time I see him now, I'm like, yeah. But I'm gonna ball on December 13th. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys.
Why would you? Why would you start now? You've never lied to us before.
Very ugly cry on you guys.
It's only beautiful when you cry. No, I had a couple other things I wanted to mention, but I feel like we kind of just did a show. So I guess I'm just going to say to people, I'm shocked that it hasn't come up on this show before, because I was just thinking about the Chair Company, the Tim Robinson show that just wrapped up on HBO. People should definitely watch it. It's very funny, very good. It really was solid all the way through. In fact, I would love it if you guys caught up on it and we could talk about it at some point. But the inciting incident on the show, Ronald, is he's at a public event and his chair falls out from under him. Very much like what happened to you on this podcast. I'm shocked I didn't make that connection before now. But that's the whole inciting incident of the whole show, is that he's kind of embarrassed at a work function when his chair breaks underneath him, and it goes into like investigating the company that makes the chairs and stuff like that. Oh my God. So I definitely would say, people, if you have any interest in Tim Robinson, or maybe even if you've been on the fence about him, this show is in some ways like the best distillation. I think I mentioned before, it's like whatever it is about friendship that some people responded to and some people didn't. This show kind of takes some of that stuff and steers it back towards the slightly more sketchy, short, funny scene angle that you might appreciate from Detroiters or I Think You Should Leave. So that would be the only thing I wanted to say. Cool. People should be watching Chair Company, and then go back and find the episode. We won't tell you which one it is, but just go back and find the episode where Ronald's chair breaks on him and compare it to the scene where Tim Robinson's chair breaks on him.
Oh God, man!
Did Tim Robinson pull a Ronald James? That's what people should be saying.
That's what they're going to be talking about.
They should
totally stole it from us. Yeah.
Maybe since this podcast hasn't ended, Steve, since you sent me this article, we should just name these 4 episodes that people should watch. Episodes.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so the Duffer Brothers are saying to prepare for the new season of Stranger Things, there are 4 definitive episodes that you should check out. Will the Wise, Season 2, Episode 4. The Spy, Season 2, Episode 6. Massacre at Hawkins Lab, Season 4, Episode 7, and The Piggy Bank, Season 4, Episode 9. So I'm going to check those out, and then I'll check out the season. And if you didn't hear any of that, rewind it. Just do the symbol with the 30 in the middle.
Or 15, or whatever you got.
What app you have. It's
an amazing button.
It is.
If only we could do that in real life.
I know.
Oh my God. Do you ever find yourself in real
in
life?
both directions.
Do you ever find yourself in real life, like honestly thinking for a second that you can click undo for just a second? Like, do you ever find yourself just going like, "Oh, wait a minute, no, I can't undo. I can't like pull that ingredient out of the soup that I shouldn't have put into it or whatever."
When you put cinnamon instead of like seasonal, it's like.
But honestly, I'm so used to computer tasks where you can just undo. Yep. But I'll think like, I'll just undo. Oh no, fuck,
can't do it.
Yeah, dude.
I wish this was a simulation and I could just go back.
It's your anxiety.
Oh my gosh. Bookends.
Oh boy. All right, cool. Well, that's it. I just want to point out one quick thing. The episode 9 of season 4 is called The Piggy Back.
Oh.
Not the piggy bank. Oh. But they probably have a piggy bank somewhere in Stranger Things that is going to come into way, way big matter at the end of this season. It's going to come back to the piggy bank.
What I call the piggy bank.
It's okay.
Bank. Piggy back.
One of the two piggies.
Piggy bank is the show. Piggy bank is the place where you keep all your money. If you're me.
Still, right? That's where it's at. Moviesmovie.com is the website. You can go there to listen to all past episodes and also subscribe to the podcast. If you prefer to listen to it somewhere else, you can, any podcast platform, there's a link there for you. You can also go to youtube.com/moviesmoviepodcast. There's also audio there. There's also video there. There's long videos, short videos, all kinds of videos. You can subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when new videos come out, new episodes come out. And if you could do any of that, we would really appreciate it. It would mean a lot. And yeah, we would just say thank you if we ever walked across the street and saw you listening to an episode or something. If we heard the intro music coming out of your AirPod, if it was kind of hanging out a little bit, we would know and we would say thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be back. Again, my required viewing pick was Ick. It's on all the rental platforms, a couple bucks. Check it out. Talk about it with us, or listen to us talk about it on the next episode. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, you've made our day. Thanks.
Bye.